Hi everybody, let's talk about measurement. For today, on today's video, we're going to look at units of measurement for length. So, as I've told you before in my classes, there are two different systems. One is the customary, and this one is used in the United States. There are a few other places in the world that the customary is used, but predominantly in the United States. The other system is called the metric, and this is used all over the world. It's also used in the United States, especially in science and medicine. This unit of measurement is this system is based on the base 10. The base 10 system. So 10 times greater or 10 times smaller. Customary, if we think about measuring length, well, first of all, let's talk about what is length. Length is how long or how far. So we want to think about distance. So when we're measuring length, we're measuring distance. How far, how long, how wide. Okay, so if you're thinking from how far is it from point A to point B, you're thinking about distance. Now that distance can be very small, it can be very big, and depending on whether it's small or big, there are different units of measurement. So 1 mile, that would be a greater distance, and we abbreviate it MI. Smaller distance would be 1 yard, and we abbreviate that YD. And even smaller would be 1 foot, and we abbreviate that FT. And then even smaller would be inches. 1 inch, we abbreviate that IN. And these units of measurement are part of the customary system. Now, if we were using the metric system for length, we could do 1 kilometer. That's for the larger distances. And then smaller than that would be 1 meter. KM is how we abbreviate kilometer. And meter, we abbreviate it with just an M. Then smaller than a meter would be a centimeter. Now centimeters, we abbreviate CM. And then smaller than centimeters would be millimeters. And so I'm going to write mil, 2 L's, meter. And that's even smaller. So you want to think greatest to least. Greatest to least. So if I want to measure a trip, going on a trip, I would think miles, or I would think kilometers. If I wanted to measure how wide a room is, the distance of a football field, I would use yards. So I'm going to say a field. I would perhaps use yards. A field, I would use meters. Okay. So if I wanted to say how tall a door is, I might say 1 meter. But if I was measuring a football field, I would think yards and meters. A foot, measure how tall a person is. Now, meters, between meters and centimeters, I can measure how tall a person is. I can measure how tall a room is. So meters, think about a meter stick. There's a meter stick. And that meter stick is the same as about a yard. So a yard is about 3 feet. And a meter stick is just a little bit more than a yard. Okay. Now, if I think about centimeters, I want to measure things that are not as big. So if I want to measure how long a pencil is, I would use centimeters. I could use inches also for how long is a pencil. But millimeters are even smaller. So maybe I want to measure the length of a bug. Smaller things. I always say itty bitty. Think very small. So I would prefer the metric system because it gives us more range of units of measurement. There are more. These are some of the most popular, such as the decimeter is another one that you'll see come up. Let me write that down, the decimeter. So there are more units of measurement under the metric system. I would prefer it over the customary, but the customary is widely known in the US by everyday people. So they're both very relevant and useful for everyday measuring. Okay, so let's talk more about these. Let me get this erased. All right, so measuring length. 1 kilometer is the same as 1,000 meters. Okay, then 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. And then 1 centimeter is the same as 10 millimeters. Okay, so here we see that if I know this relationship, let me write this down. If I know the relationship, then I can convert from unit to unit. Okay, so if I asked you how many kilometers is 5,000 meters equal to? Well, I know kilometer, meters. Now that 1 kilometer is the same as 1,000 meters. So then 2 kilometers must be the same as 2,000 meters. I see the pattern here. So then 5 kilometers must be the same as 5,000 meters because the relationship is times 1,000. Okay, so the relationship is times 1,000. If I were to compare meters to centimeters, so let's see, meters to centimeters, or what about centimeters to meters? If I go from centimeters to meters, well, I see the relationship here. For every 100 centimeters, I get 1 meter. So a half of a meter would be half of 100, which would be 50 centimeters. A fourth, half of a half, would be 25 centimeters. Okay, so I know 100 centimeters is the same as 1 meter. Let me think. What would 10 centimeters be? What would 10 centimeters be? Well, if I think about it, if a half is the same as 50 cents, if I broke that up 10 ways, that would be the same as 1/10 or 10 cents. So a tenth of a meter would be 10 centimeters. And I know that's true because 10 times 10 is 100. 10 dimes would be $1. Okay? 200 centimeters would be 2 meters. So the relationship between 1 meter and 100 centimeters is times 100. If I go the opposite direction from centimeters to meters, it's going to be divided by 100. Excuse me. Let's look at another one. If I look at, let's just look at the customary system. Okay, if I look at the customary system, 1 mile is the same as, let me write this down, 1 mile is the same as 1,760 yards. That is a lot of yards. 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. So you think about that yardstick and you say, hey, there's 3 feet inside of that yardstick. 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. Okay, so using the bridge map, this thinking map, we have connected 2 different units of measurements to see their relationship. If I gave you the problem feet 2 inches and I give you 6 feet and I tell you to find out how many inches are inside of 6 feet. Well, we see 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, so then 2 feet would be equal to 24, 36, 48, 60, need one more, 72. So each foot has 12 inches inside of it. So I can say that 6 feet is the same as 72 inches. What if this time I gave you, let's say, 48 inches, and I said, how many feet is that equal to? Well, let's see. 4 times 12 is 48. So I say that is 4 feet. Okay, let's look at miles and yards. So miles and yards. I say how many yards are in 3 miles? I have to do 3 times 1,760. 3 times 1,000. 3 times 760. 1 times 3 is 3. I have 3 placeholders. 3 times 7 is 21. I have 2 placeholders. 3 times 6 is 18. 1 placeholder. Then I need to add all of this up. 2,100, then 180. 5,280 yards. Okay, so knowing how to multiply with the box method can help you find those relationships. Knowing how to divide, how to use a model can help you. Thinking about the relationship with a thinking map. So I can say 1 mile times 1,760 gave me 1,760 yards. 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. The relationship is times 3. Here the relationship is times 12. Okay, I hope this has helped you with measuring length. The next video, we're going to talk about measuring volume and capacity. Please like and share. Until next time, have a good one.